Hey everyone, it's Paul from Mako for our last retro computer game design live stream, which has flown by. I thought it'd be a little bit longer than this, but the 3 weeks have just gone pop, and we're here at the last one. So I'm here today, and I've also got Ian in the corner with me today as well.
How are we doing, guys? You alright? I can't believe how fast it's gone as well. Same with yesterday's 3 weeks, just wow, we're here. But you guys have learned so much, and we're about to cap it off with some more fantastic computer game coding mashups.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a really good one today. Putting some enemies in, and I'm going to do it with a little bit of a twist today. So it's gonna look really fantastic at the end once we've finished. So just to give you a little bit of a teaser to see what it's going to look like, I've got a Blue Peter moment, shall we say, where look at what I've done. On my screen I've got one here that should... Oh, it's a bit behind.
Oh, your laptop's a bit behind.
Yeah, so I can see my game, but that is
okay.
not what is on my screen.
Alright, just give us a minute then.
Yeah, so
figure that out.
So there's my screen. So what we're going to do in today's session, we're going to look at putting bad guys in, spawning at different places, and I'm going to show you how to code that. We're also going to put in a non-playable character that's going to give some advice to the people playing your game, and we're also going to put in what else are we going to put in? Oh, a story at the beginning to say what the aim of the game is. Ta-da! So you can see what that will look like right now. So if I start my game, and I've got a princess. So if I walk over to it, she gives you a bit of advice about what's going to happen in the game. So she's warning you to beware of the ghostly mushrooms. So if I touch a mushroom, it spawns a bad guy that if I jump on his head, he disappears and I win the battle. And if I spawn another one, if he lands on me, I lose a life. So it's pretty cool. So that's a different way. And there's a teleportation from people who did the expansion packs with me on Friday. So I didn't jump on his head. Oh, stuck. I die. So that's a little bit of a teaser of what your game could look like. Your game doesn't necessarily have to be like that. Okay, it can be any type of bad guy that you want. So there's loads out there. I went for the ghost from Pacman. Might be something else. It might be something completely different. It's completely up to you guys what you want to go for. I personally like that. I was going to do Bowser, but it was a little bit difficult to fit him in them pixels without him being a little bit distorted. And it also depends on what type of character you want as well. Do you want them flying? Do you want them walking? I kind of like the ghost effect, flying around the screen, chasing you. I kind of like that, but necessarily have to be the same as yours. So make code. Once we've got it, we're going to open up our project. So this is my project from last week's stream that has no princess in there, no bad guys, and it is completely where I left it last week with you guys on the live stream. So,
which is available on our website.
Yeah, I always forget about that.
If this is your first time here, welcome. You're on week 3, so you've kind of leapfrogged 1 and 2, which is fine, and you can watch this and you can try and keep up if you like, but we have been kind of like working your way up to this. So the previous streams and Paul's code from week 2 are all available on our website, and we'll show you that a little bit later on, because that's where you submit your games to us when they're done. So you could do that now, or you could stay with us and catch up with that later. But just in case anybody's feeling a little bit lost, then that's how you can catch up.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Ian. I always forget to remind people that my code's on the website if this is their first session. So what we're going to do first is my characters were spawning from the mushrooms. So I'm just going to show you how to place an item like that down that's going to then spawn your bad guy. So what I did was using some of this code that we've used before. Okay, so the 4 elements, this is where I've used this before when we put our coins down, our collectibles. So to do one of these, you could duplicate one of these and delete it out, but I'm going to show you where to find it. So if you go into loops and you're going to grab one of these 4 elements and drag it into your code, and in the code we're going to design something for our spawn point. So I chose a mushroom in mind, so I'm going to get from the sprites, I'm going to get the top block here. I'm going to drag that into here, and this is where we're going to design our point. So I'm going to go to the end where it says player, and I'm going to make a new kind, and I'm going to rename this mushroom so we know where it is. This is going to help us when we move on to our code, so we know what type of kind we're selecting. Okay, I'm also going to then go into the editor. You can draw your own mushroom if you like, or your own spawn point, whether it might be a portal or whether it might be a coin or a gem or something that you've not used that could turn into something. So it might be a pellet if you wanted to, like Pacman, so you've got a glowing pellet, or fruit, okay, something like that from Pacman, or anything other games. I'm going to go into the gallery, so I'm not sat designing a mushroom, and I know I can scroll down and I can steal one from here. There's loads of different ones in here, loads of different things that you can choose. I'm going to go for this one. So I'm going to put my mushroom in, it's designed already for me. I'm going to put that in here, and I'm also going to rename this as well. I'm going to rename this variable. I'm also going to call that slightly different. I'm going to call that mushrooms. So then when I'm using my other code, I know exactly where I'm looking for. Okay, so next bit is we need to replace this bubble here that says lists. Okay, and this needs to be replaced with an array of all locations. So easiest way to find it is if you go to the search and type in array, and it's this one. Or if you want to know where it is, it's under scene. So you can go to scene and you can scroll down until you find array of all locations. I'll drag that in, and we're going to replace the lists. Okay, so this just means when we tell the game where we want these mushrooms, that's where they're going to appear. So bonus point if anyone remembers where that is, it is in the tile map. So when we've done it in the past, we've got our orange to say where we want coins appearing. I'm going to choose a colour by going to my tiles at the side here and choosing a block that I'm not going to use. So I'm going to create a new tile by clicking the plus, and I'm going to choose a colour that I've not used a lot of. So I'm going to go for purple, and I'm going to click the fill tool, and I'm going to fill that entire tile purple and press done. So this means wherever I put purple now, a mushroom's going to appear. So I'm going to put one here, here, put one down here, over here somewhere. I might put one up there as well. Okay, so this now means wherever there's a purple square, a bad guy's going to appear if your character runs over those tiles. So I'm going to go back to my code, and now where it says for my element value array of all, I'm going to click here and I'm going to change this to purple. Also, I need to put in from my scene, I need to go in here, there's 2 more bits of code that I need to put in, and that is this one. Place my sprite on top of tile, map, column and row. I'm going to drop that one in. I get my warning to change my variable to mushrooms. And then I need to take this value here and drop it in this section here. So I'm going to click on the value, I'm going to take that down, make sure it doesn't go into one of the little bubbles, that it covers the whole section. And my mushroom is now in. Let's just move these out of the way a little bit. And we've still got the purple background. So what we've got to do is go to scene. We need to get rid of that purple background. And to do that, we go to this one that says set, and it's got the checkered background at tile map, column and row. Grab that, put that underneath, and then again, click on the value, drag the value down, same again, fill the whole bubble, and there we go. So we've got no more purple background, and we've got our mushroom in there. However, oh, I know what's going on. I'm missing some code there. Let's just chuck this code in. This one. Don't know why that code's disappeared out there. But let's set this one up really quickly so my character stays where he should be. And put that as 350. Okay.
Just in case anybody experiences that same problem, Paul, what was it that was happening there?
So what was happening was, for whatever reason, my change Luigi, so my character, my variable, his gravity block had been moved, so whenever you press jump he wouldn't come back down, he'd just carry on going up. So that should have fixed it. Oh, interesting. Oh, I've not changed that bit. Oh, so that bit needs to be our Y acceleration. So AY, acceleration Y. And if you're having that issue that I discovered the other day, was your character is spawning and he's just falling through. If you go back to your tile map and just move your pink block, so if I rub out my pink block and just move it slightly up, if you're having that issue, some people in the expansion pack on Friday were fine and they weren't having that issue, but some people were for different reasons. I don't know why, but if I just moved the block out of the way, he was fine. Okay, so now he doesn't spawn and fall through, and when he jumps he should come back down. Okay, so my coin disappears when I collect it, I get a point, but nothing's happening when I go over the mushroom. So we need to now say what happens when we go over a mushroom or whatever it might be that you're deciding to put in there. So we want a bad guy to spawn. So we need to go to sprites and we need to get one of these blocks. Okay, one of our overlaps that say on sprite of kind player overlaps other sprite of kind player. We need to get one of these. I'm going to drag this in and find some space on your board. So I'm going to see if I can find some clear space. Let's go to the side here. So in here we've got a few things to do. We've got a few things that we need to put in here and change. So I renamed my kind, so I can change that already and click mushroom. So this means whenever our player now touches the mushroom, some other code is going to run and we need to say what's going to happen. So first thing is we need to destroy the mushroom, because if we leave the mushroom there and your character's just constantly over it, it's going to spawn hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bad guys, and it'll be kind of impossible to defeat them all. So we need to find a block that says destroy. So it's destroy my sprite and it's got a plus sign on it. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that in there. And what I'm going to do is this bit here that says other sprite, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to drop that into there. And I'm going to get rid of that. If you click the plus button, this gives you a few different options. Okay, so you can decide how you want the mushroom, what effect you want with the mushroom to be destroyed. So I kind of like disintegrate. So when my character goes over it, the mushroom will disintegrate. And this is where we get to the fun bit. This is where you get to design your bad guy. So what I'm going to show you is we go to sprites and we get this top one out again that says my sprite. And we put that one underneath. Okay, so first thing, he's not a player. He's an enemy. And if you do know what you're going to call your bad guy, you can rename your variable now as well. And I'm just going to call mine Ghosty. Okay. And this is where you get to design it. So same as when we've designed anything in the past, you go to your editor. If you know there's an enemy already made that suits what you're going to do, feel free to choose one from the gallery. But I'm going to design my own. I'm going to design one of the Pacman ghosts. So, just to recap, if you forgot any of these or you're new to these, our tools are, the first one highlighted here is our pencil. The next one is our rubber. This is our shape drawer that draws squares and rectangles. Our fill tool is the next one that fills the screen. Next one is our circle tool that will draw circles. Straight line tool. One of my favorite ones now is the marquee tool, where it'll allow you to highlight your object and then you can move it around the screen. And just your hand tool, so that allows you to move the whole tile around the screen. And here are your colours. So there are all the basic tools that we need to start drawing our bad guy. I'm going to go really quickly to start editing and drawing my ghost. 1, 2, 3, 4. While I'm doing this, Ian, have we had any questions so far? Have we had any polls out there to see what people are doing?
Just one sec.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's good. So we can see me and what Paul's doing at the same time. All right, so I have asked the first question, just say, let's have a look. We did a poll on Facebook to say what type of boss are you going to make? And the options were flying, patrolling, shooting, or all three, if you're going to make the hardest game ever. Unsurprisingly, all three did get some votes, so I'm not looking forward to playing that game and getting to that bad guy, because that sounds impossible. But then the most popular vote was patrolling. So patrolling in gaming kind of lingo, if anybody doesn't know, just basically the character's going to follow a path, typically from left to right, and they kind of have this pattern. You're probably used to that if you're a gamer and you're playing them. You can kind of figure out where your bad guy's going to go before they've even gone there, because they'll be on some sort of loop, and that's called a patrol. Although games now have really complicated patrols, so it's kind of hard to guess. So but old school retro ones, then they'd be patrolling, kind of on Mario, like when you had one of the Koopas and they just went to the edge of the shelf and then back to the other edge. That would be the patrol. So that is a great one for your boss level bad guy if you wanted to do that. That's amazing. And then another question that I asked was an open question: who's your favourite video game boss / bad guy? Now, I am going to show my age here, and there's been some answers where Lucy has said an F-22. Now, that's a plane for my money. Now, I might be right. Let us know, Lucy. Are you into kind of flight sim games maybe, and there's a bad guy there? Or am I just completely being old and there's some character called F-22 in some game or something that I don't know about? So that is from Lucy. Thank you very much for that answer. Let us know in the comments how old I am and how past it I am. That'd be great. And then we've had one from Amy simple, classic answer of Bowser. Definitely up there for me.
Yeah.
One of the questions I'll be asking you later is how did you feel when you got to the boss level, the bad guy kind of thing? And I always felt petrified when I got to any level with Bowser in it. It was always kind of like, I am gonna die. I always felt like that. So that's a great answer. And then answer from our very own Jack was Ripley from the Metroid franchise, which is a great answer. I only really, considering I'm older than Jack, it's a bit weird, I only really caught up with Metroid on the Wii, and that was obviously the first person shoot 'em up kind of thing, which was amazing. But I skipped past the platformer version of that, so great answer there from Jack. Nobody else put that in. And then let's just take a quick look over on YouTube and see if anybody's put some answers in there. Oh, my favourite is Ganon in the Ocarina of Time.
Ah, great shout.
I beat him first time. That just needs like hashtag just saying, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time on the N64.
Yeah.
That's a great shout. Again, kind of a 3D. It wasn't first person, was it? It was third person. It was over the shoulder, but like kind of one of the first proper like free roaming kind of felt like there wasn't any real kind of structured set path. So some of the bad guys and the character design in the Legend of Zelda games were pretty fantastic. Big shout out. I thought the Wind Waker on the GameCube, that had some amazing style kind of to it, and the bad guys in there were pretty cool. But yeah, obviously Ocarina of Time is one of the all-time greatest games ever. And then another shout out from, that was from Faith, and another shout out on YouTube to Microwave is Eggman. Final Zone in Sonic 1 is easy. Yeah, I remember that. I remember kind of thinking it was all a bit easy, but it got solid, didn't it? It got harder and harder and harder, yeah. That's kind of cool. Well done, guys. Thanks. Keep the comments coming. I'll try my best to keep hold of. Oh, hang on. Lucy's got back with an answer. Just like retro games, you're the plane, the other planes deplete your heart, and you have 3 tries. It's in 8-bit. Alright, so what's the name of that game? What's the name of that retro plane flying game? You can let us know. That'd be kind of cool, because I was waxing lyrical about an old playing game to the guys in the office when we were in. They were just like, I have no idea what you're on about. And it did have a really unrememberable name. Yeah. I'll try and find it and let you know what it was that I was talking about. How are we doing, Paul? That looks amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there's my Pacman ghost quickly designed while we answered some of your questions, got some feedback from people. That's going to drive me crazy, the playing game, because I keep, for whatever reason, I always go back to Gallagher, and it's not Gallagher, but that's one of my favourite kind of shoot 'em up kind of playing alien shit games. So really quickly done my pink Pacman ghost, my version of him. Can be completely different if you wanted to. If you wanted to copy my design, feel free. But remember, the ghost came in 3 different colours: pink, red and yellow. Is that right? No?
I'm looking at the poster behind you.
Pink,
red, green.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Yeah. So it could be any colour you want. Like you say, this is a mashup. So in one of my other versions, I put Pacman in there as a bad guy, because Pacman's always a good guy, depending on. So I changed him slightly and I made him white. So it can be completely different. You can mash these up as ever you want. It might be a ghost mashed up with something else. So once you've got your character, click that done button, and so now we've started to get our code. So our code now, our mushroom will disappear, and then we've started to get our enemy, but it's not going to appear anywhere because we've not told it what to do. So what we need to do now is start moving on to something else to say what our next bit of code is. And what we can do is a couple of different things. So if you wanted your character just to appear here where the mushroom was and just appear, it'd be cool. That's one way of doing it, but I kind of like having my enemy spawn somewhere else, to give the person playing it a little bit of an opportunity to kind of defend themselves against my enemy that's going to appear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to sprites, and I'm going to get this one, set my sprite position X and Y. I'm going to drag that one in. And you can do this where you say you want your ghosty or whatever you've named your bad guy to appear. And I'm going to change it slightly so it's relevant to my character rather than putting in just the X and Y location that we can find, the coordinates that we can find. I'm going to put it relevant to my character. So I'm going to go to the math section, and I'm going to get this one here, this bubble here. I'm going to drag this one in, and the good thing is you only have to make this once and then you can just duplicate it. So I've got this one in, and then I'm going to go back to sprites, and I'm going to take this one that says my sprite and it's got a times symbol. I'm going to take this one in. I'm going to put this in this bubble here. So I'm going to drag that and I'm going to put it in the, not replace it all. You might have to move it around slightly so it just highlights the first bubble with the first 0 in. And this is going to be my main character, so I need to put this variable back to Linguini. And what you can do is, to save a bit of time, if you click on the purple part of it, you can duplicate all of it. So you don't have to then keep going back into the math section and then back into the sprite section. What you can do is then take this bit and put it in this section here. Not in this bubble here within the purple one, but within the blue bit. So put that bit in here. So let's just move this over slightly so it's not overlapping the other bit of code. So what we're going to change now is these X. So we're going to keep this first as an X, and then we're going to change this one to the Y. So change this one to Y, and we're going to change these purple ones to a plus, and this one to a minus, to a takeaway. And these numbers, what I've found is I've put in a few different numbers in mine, but I've kind of put in 1660, and then my character just appears just slightly off the screen and starts to come in. Okay, you might want to play it a few times, see where it spawns, come out of your code, change these numbers slightly, and keep going backwards and forwards till you find the right sort of area that you want your character to spawn at. Obviously, the lower you get, the closer they're going to spawn to your character. Okay. And last bit of code that needs to go in here is, because I like my ghost actually coming towards and following my character. So we need to go to sprites, and we're looking for one that says follow. It should say set my sprite to follow. And have I missed it? I think I have. There we go, right at the top. I bypassed it. Set, and need to change this one to ghosty, and I need to change this one to linguini. So now if I go over my mushroom, my ghost will appear. Okay, but unfortunately we've got nothing coded for our ghost to do anything. So at the minute he's just going to follow, he's going to chase me around the screen and nothing's going to happen, which is pretty cool. But you can also, if you click this plus button, might be a good idea while nothing is happening, while there's going to be no game over or damage or lives, is see how fast you want your ghost to follow your character. And to do that is on this set ghost to follow linguini, if you click on the plus button, here's the speed at how fast they will come at you. So I like putting this down a little bit to give the people playing it a little bit of a fighting chance. So let's have a look at 65. Speed of 65, does that help? So he can technically get away from him, but he will catch up. So I'm going to stick with 65 speed in there. Or you could go a little bit easier to start with. You might want to go 50, give him half speed. It's up to you. See which works best. Yeah, I'm going to stick with 50 actually. 50 is a little bit better. So we now need to put some code in there to say what happens when our ghost catches up to our character. And the bit of code that I'm going to put in, which is I like a lot, is stealing from Mario and Sonic and a few other retro games, is defeating your enemy by jumping on them, jumping on the heads. And what we need to do for that is go to sprites, and we're going to get our overlay in. And we're going to get this one in. And we're going to change this one to enemy. And we're going to get a logic. We're going to get an if statement. And we're going to get this one and drop this one in. So with this if statement, we're going to say if linguini is higher than the ghost, linguini wins. If the ghost is higher than linguini, the ghost wins. And that might be whether you lose life, lose points, or it might be you might be very mean and say game over straight away. But I'm going to say it's a change of score and a loss of lives. So what we need to do is we need to go back into logic, and we need to get this greater one here. So this comparison one that is in the middle, that's 0, and it's got like the crocodile mouth open and another 0. So we're going to drag that into the bit that says true, if it allows me. There we go. And we're going to go back to sprites, and we've used this one before, and it's this one here. The my sprite has got a times bit in it. So we're going to drag that out and put that in that bubble. And you could duplicate it, or if you want to go back, because it's quite hard to duplicate it if you're doing this on a tablet. So I'll just drag it back in. So you've got 2 in now. And I need to change this one to linguini. I need to change this one to ghosty. And I need to change these X symbols to Y symbols, because Y is height. So that's our basic code in there. So this is completely up to you how you want to put into these next bits, how you want your game to work, how you want your enemy to deal damage to your character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in if linguini is higher, I'm going to give him some points. So I'm going to say he gets +5 points if he gets higher. And what I'm going to say if the ghost is higher, going back to the info section, is I'm going to say it's change score. And I'm going to say he loses -2 points. And I'm also going to be, it's double this one, I'm going to say he loses a life as well. Okay, so if you choose that option of changing life as well, what you need to do is you need to go back into info and you need to grab the set life to 3 and then take that across and drop that into your on start. Okay, so if you're like me and you want to lose lives, you need to also in on start put your set life to 3. So now if I give it a quick demo in the little side, got my ring, +1 on my score, and then my ghost appears. And so that just proves that looking at it, something is not quite right in our coding. So we can have a look. So I was higher then than the ghost, but it still said I lost. So let's have a look. Let's see what's going wrong here. Let's have a quick look. -5. Crazy. So let's have a look. What have I done wrong? Let's just take the change life out. Should be that way around. Let's give it a quick refresh. Oh, now I'm not. Crazy. Oh, I know what I forgot. Dope. So, I need to put in destroy because my ghost isn't going to go there, so that's why it's not working. So, moving ahead, rushing through, I forgot to put in another destroy sprite. So that goes at the end of our code. And we need to put in destroy ghosty. And same again, if you click on the plus, you can choose how you want him to disintegrate, or I always go for that, but you could go for fire, which is pretty cool. So that should have fixed my issues. So if I restart, okay, so that is back working, so I can now put in my change life for it to work. Refresh, and if I go above him, there we go. So I got my score and I didn't lose any lives, and the ghost is gone. So you're not going to instantly go game over. So you can go through and your ghosts will appear, or your bad guys will appear, and if he goes over the top of me, disintegrated, I've lost some points and I've lost a heart as well. So that's our bad guy bit done. Hopefully some people have started to create some really cool bad guys in there. Like I say, I made a mistake there by forgetting to put in my destroy the sprite once we've overlapped, whether he wins or I win. You don't want it around, or it'll be instant game over because it'll just keep repeating unless you put a respawn in there somewhere else. But that's what I want anyway. I want it to be a winner straight away. Whether he wins or I win, he gets destroyed. So, have we got any questions? I think that's a good point to pause for any questions before I move on to the next little bit.
No, I think everybody seems to be doing pretty good. We can go back to the previous questions. Lucy was mentioning the actual game's called F22, and I've had a little look at it and it looks pretty cool.
All right.
It's a flight sim kind of game. Shout out to Star Fox. That was my first ever flight sim kind of experience, and Sean's mentioned the same as well. That was pretty cool. And the game that I was waffling on about before, which is the retro one, is 1942. That's not a very memorable name, but there you go. But it was pretty good. It's pretty addictive as well if you want to give that a little whirl. No, I just asked everybody how they're getting on, and everybody seems to be okay.
Cool.
If anybody is struggling, remember this, although we are live and it does kind of have that, I have to keep up, you really, really don't. You can pause it, you can rewind, you can catch up afterwards, just soak it all in for now and then have a go later on. So, yeah, pretty good. I think everybody's kind of happy.
Great.
What that code reminded me of, where your ghosty was kind of floating after you, was two versions of Mario. Mario 2 which was the not very popular one. But there was some like circle masky ghost kind of figures that would follow you around. They were like horrendous. And then in Super Mario Brothers 3, on some of the desert levels where the sun would come alive, do you remember that? And it kind of like make a loop, and you'd have to jump over that. That was stress inducing. I remember them as well. So
very.
Obviously Paul's gone with a mashup with Pacman. Kind of similar to the booze in Mario as well, a little bit. Yeah, so you can mash up whatever games you like. It'd be cool to see some of your submissions, and we'll show you how you can send them to us. We'd love to see the different bad guys that you guys have made.
Yep.
Let's hand back over to Paul.
Yeah. So what I've got planned for the next 2 bits is to start adding some story to our platformer, so people know what to do and what to expect in your platformer. So first thing is going to go into the on start bit. Okay, so I'm going to go to game, and I'm going to grab this show long text bit, take it to the very beginning, and this gives you a little bit of options where you want your text to be. So if you click where it says bottom, you can have it on the left, right, top, center, or full screen. So I'm going to go full screen for this because there's going to be quite a bit of text, I think. So I'm going to type in here, can you help Linguini find his treasure? Oh, I missed the 8. Okay, and I put question mark. So now, if I press A, my game will start and there's a question. So it gives you a little bit of information about what the aim of the game is by pressing A, and it launches you into your game. I'm also wanting to give my character and the people playing it a little bit of advice about these mushrooms. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a character in there. It's a non-playable character. I'm going to chuck that in, and I'm going to use another one of these 4 elements. So I can use a location, and that character only appears at that location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to loops. I'm going to grab my 4 element, and I'm going to drop it in. Doesn't matter where it is in the list of your code, but I'm going to drop it in. I found a space, and I'm going to go to sprites, and I'm going to grab on this one where we created our character, and I'm going to, because I'm remaking the one I showed you before, so I'm going to click new variable, and I'm going to name this one Princess Peach. Oh, yeah. It's not, you can have it, you can keep it as a player, but not to confuse myself, I'm going to add a new kind. I'm going to call it Princess. You can name it whatever you like. I'm just naming it to help me not get confused when I'm selecting my overlap later on. So I know if I click on here, to instead of me trying to draw Princess Peach, I know I can go to the gallery and I can steal one that's already been done, which is, I'm going to steal the one with the feet down. I'm going to steal this one. And I'm going to edit it slightly to make it look a little bit more like Princess Peach. So I'm going to give her blonde hair, like so. And to make a crown stand out, I'm going to change it to orange so it doesn't blend in with her crown. And I'm sure she had, if memory serves me correct, I'm sure she had blue, and it is a yellow, but we're not going to see it, so I'm going to go red. I'll leave it as red. So she had 3 different marks on her crown, but let's keep it as those so they stand out. And once you're happy with it, press done. And now we've started to get some code in there. And we need to now put in our code to say where we want Princess Peach. And we need an array. So I'm just going to grab that. And that goes in our list. I also need to go to scene and say where. So I'm going to put the place, my sprite, put that under the Princess Peach one, grab the value, put the value in the tile map bit of it, change that to a variable back to Princess Peach to get rid of the warning, back to scene, and get the set bit so it clears it, put that under there, grab the value bit, put the value there as well. And the last bit I need to put is where I'm putting Princess Peach. So I need to scroll up to my tile map, and I'm going to have to put it near the start, okay, to give my character a little bit of advice of where what the mushrooms might do, if I can speak. So tiles, create a new tile, and I'm going to choose a colour that I've not used, so I'm going to go brown.
Criminal there, Paul. You're already using peach.
I know.
For Princess Peach.
I didn't think that through, did I? I can change it though. So I could go brown for one, and I can change it. So if I put the brown there, swap it around, make Ian happy. So I just changed that around slightly. So if you've done that, that's fine. So I can just go and change Linguini to be placed on the brown one, and make sure, there we go, Princess Peach, and change that one to brown. And then where my Princess Peach is, go to Peach and change it that way.
I suppose that's kind of good to show everybody. That's just me being super fussy, and nobody would be able to tell if they were playing your game, because that's just for developers' eyes only, so that's only for you guys. But it's kind of cool to see how easy it is. Just on that note, it is really good to keep things organized. So you know, if you can color code something, or you even want to put like comments in your code or things like that, just so you can refresh yourself and get a better understanding, because there's nothing worse than coming back to code and going, what was I doing here? What does that do? I don't understand. So if you can organize yourself, then that's pretty cool.
Yep. So now, when the game starts, I had my message at the start, and I've got a princess waiting for me. So if I move across now, though, nothing happens. So we need an overlap feature. So I'm just going to scroll to the side, hopefully find some space somewhere, go up. Okay, so I need an overlap. I need to say what is going to happen when my character approaches Princess Peach. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an overlap. And I'm going for my overlap. I'm grabbing it and bringing it in. So I'm going to say when my player overlaps the other sprite, it needs to do something. So I'm going to go to the end. I rename my kind. So if I put it as princess, so it knows when my character overlaps the princess to do something. I'm going to go to the game section because I wanted to say something. I wanted to give her some advice, give my character some advice. So I'm going to go into the splash bit, the prompt in the game bit, put that in, and I can give some advice. So I might say, please be aware of the ghostly mushrooms. Okay, so once you've got your sentence in, a little bit of a hint, what you can do is if you click the plus button, same as the rest, you can add maybe more if you need to, but I'm just going to leave it as that. If you wanted to add more, you can add some more text in there, but I'm gonna leave it as a very simple I couldn't think of the word then, hint. And what we need to do is I want the princess to disappear so she's not there all the time. So she gives her advice and she disappears. And to do that, we've used this block before. Sounds pretty harsh, but we're going to destroy her. So we're going to drag that destroy block in and we're going to put it underneath. And we're going to drag in this other sprite bit and put that into there. So you can delete that one when it pops out. And same again, you can choose how you want her to be destroyed. So I'm going to go for something that's pretty cool actually. I'm not going to actually destroy her with fire or something. I might put maybe confetti or smiles maybe. Let's go smiles. So now when I hit the refresh, I've got my question saying can you help Linguini? Drops down, and when he gets to the princess, she gives him some advice, and then when you press A again, she disappears with smiles rather than being disintegrated with fire or anything, which is pretty cool. So we've now got a functioning game with some hints and tips from a non-playable character. We've got some enemies, we've got some collectibles in there, we've got loads, and that is pretty much my finished game for today. So any questions? Anything that we missed, Ian?
I don't think you've missed anything. I think that is a pretty well-rounded game. Now, obviously, two things. People that have been following us week by week kind of going, my player doesn't jump and bits and bobs don't make sense. That should bring everything together now.
Yep.
And what we really love for your submissions this week is if you go back and think back to week 1 through to this week now, put all of them together, go away and make a new game that brings everything. Don't just kind of submit what you've got now.
Yeah.
Because now that you've got all those skills, you should be able to go, right, okay, now I know what I'm going to go and do, and do one from scratch and make something really, really cool. You've got plenty of time. There's no points awarded for somebody who could submit their game to us the quickest. We'd rather you went away and worked on it and really enjoyed the process and thought about it, and then send it to us come Sunday. But before we get to that, I think it'd be really nice to see our game that was submitted to us. So just let me give a shout out to Charlie Roberts, who submitted. We had a few submissions, but we're going to play on Charlie's real quick. So just let me get that. Or you're going to see me embarrass myself trying to play a game. So let's refresh it. And let me know, Paul, what do you think? What these collectibles? We've got kind of a mix-up of Luigi, but he's got a tail on the go.
Yeah.
And those collectibles look like pizzas. Captain America shields, I'm not entirely sure. Nice kind of design to them though. Yeah. And like we said last week, we didn't implement any jump or anything, so we weren't focusing on like how playable the game was. It was all about the design come last week, but now Paul has gone through the code that should be able you to make a well-rounded game. So it's pretty easy because you can kind of fly everywhere, but that's not the point. We were looking at the design. So the character's kind of cool. It's kind of like Luigi crossed with Tails from Sonic or something. And the level design's pretty cool as well. Yeah. Is that freshly designed lava, or is that lava from the library, Paul?
That is lava from the library.
Oh, so that would be kind of cool if you could go back to this and make it your own. That'd be awesome. But fantastic. Well done for getting that to us. And I guess let's have a look at how you guys can send your games to us when you're done. This is the last stream, unfortunately, in this series. We will be back with more, but this was just like a 3-weeker. So we won't be able to give you guys a shout out next time because there isn't a next time. But what we will do is we will pick the winner, and that will be immortalized forever on our website. We'll embed it into our website for people to be able to play, or there'll be a link that you can click on. So there is kind of a bit of like the winner is, and it will be on our website for the world to see and play. So the deadline for submissions will be on Sunday. Today's Tuesday, I think, last time I checked. So you've got plenty of time to get that to us. Let's have a look. Do you want me to do this, Paul? Do you want me to show everybody?
Yeah, if you've got it open.
Yeah, but no problem. So head over to the Mako Create website. You should kind of have this locked down already, I imagine, but makocreate.co.uk, and it'll look a bit like this. And then you want to head over to the project section in our menu, which is up there. Give that a click, and then on this page is where you can see everything that we've got going on at the moment and things that have happened recently. Anybody who is in the crew area should definitely give this button a click here, because this is our Boost Creativity in Crew project that we just got started. So with that floats your boat, then give that a click. But for you guys, it's the retro video game mashup project, so give that a click. And on this page you'll be able to see everything, and this is a really great page for you to be able to catch up if you're feeling a little bit lost. So you can scroll down, it tells you more about what the project is, what we were doing, when we were doing it, where we were doing it. Obviously that's all kind of happened now, but there you go. Who's it for? And then when you scroll a bit further down, there's episode 1 for recap, there's Paul's code from week 1, scroll down a little bit more, episode 2 recap and Paul's code from week 2, and then we get to episode 3, which is this one. So when this is finished, you can give that a click there, and you'll be able to recap. And then you've got your smashed up level design. It's not level design, we'll change that. Submit your smashed up game for a chance to get a shout out. So we'll shout out the winner on our Facebook page, and we will put it into this page as well for people to be able to click and play. You just need to click on that button. That'll take you through to a quick little form. You guys just need to put the maker's name in there, the maker's age, so you are the maker, and your age, an email address for us to reach out to you about future projects and if you've been the winner, and then the game URL, so the address where we can find your game at. So how do we get that URL, Paul? I think everybody kind of knows, but let's show them anyway.
So what we need to do is, if you just drop me out of that top corner, if you give me a switch, there we go. Once you're happy with your code, it's this share button here that's got the 3 dots and join to make a triangle. If you click on this share one, you can actually rename your game. So now that it's finished, you might want to give it a cool name. It can be anything you want. And once you're happy with that, hit that publish button at the bottom, and then this gives you the option to copy the URL that you'll need for submitting it to us, but also if you want to submit it onto social media, Facebook and Twitter, you can do that as well. But yeah, that's the URL. So if you just click that copy button, it copies it, and you can paste it straight into that document and submit it straight to us. Yeah, I think that's everything that we need to cover.
We've got
excuse me.
one last thing to show you real quick. If you weren't aware, then we also run, because these are live streams that are going out to you, and people do ask us questions in the comments, and we try to get back to you as best we can, but it's not the best place to do that. So we do offer semi-private sessions as well. So on that project page that I was just showing you, you'll be able to see some links to what we call our expansion packs. So let me get them up for you here. So again, go into the retro video game mashup project page, and you might have already seen them just then as we were scrolling through weeks 1, 2 and 3, but if we scroll down to week 3, there you go. Expansion pack 3, music and special effects. This is the very last chance to get some private FaceTime with us here at Mako, and we're going to mash up some music and special effects. So if you've enjoyed this week or any of the other weeks and you want to do a private Zoom call with limited participants, so you can literally shout and ask questions and say, can you do that bit again, or what if I wanted to do this, or whatever, click tickets and more info, and then that will take you through to the Mako Create Eventbrite page. which you can also get to directly through Eventbrite if you're familiar with their website, and then you can just click on tickets. They are £10 plus booking, and we'll send you the details about how you can log on to the private Zoom session with us to take part in some more super cool, slightly more advanced computer game coding and mashups.
Yeah.
Wow. There we
It's
go.
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. I hope everybody got that. I hope everybody's enjoyed what Paul's gone through. You know the drill by now. You can catch us on all of our social networks. That's the best place to find out any information about this project or any other projects that we've got in the pipeline. So just search for @MakeOCreate UK. It's the same across all of them: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. That's all. You just need to search for MakeOCreate UK. You'll be able to find us and keep your ears to the ground about new and up-and-coming projects that we've got coming up, of which there are quite a few.
Yeah.
So, that's all from me.
Yeah.
Paul, you want to sign us off?
Yeah, I'll sign us off. So Friday is the last expansion pack as well. So we've had quite a lot of regulars on that. So I'm looking forward to Friday, adding some finishing touches, some sound effects, and some music to our game. So that'll be really cool. As usual, it'll be myself and Jack. Loads of people ask questions in it, and it's fantastic that you can ask your questions and we can help you fix your games as well. So that's it for today. I hope you've kept up with us for the 3 weeks and got a finished polished game now, and I will see you on Friday if you do the expansion packs. See ya.